Here.
Cleveland, Griffith,
Here.
Hairston, Bashir Jones, Slythe,
Present.
McCormick.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Development Planning Sustainability Committee hearing is being held during the COVID-19 emergency declaration in accordance with Ohio's open meeting laws as amended by sub HB 197. This meeting is being held using the Zoom platform and is being live streamed on YouTube and on Cleveland's Channel 20. It also can be seen on Cleveland City Council website and from Council's Facebook Live page. In accordance with Ohio open meetings regulations as amended by sub HB 197, notice of this committee hearing was publicly posted. This committee hearing will be conducted as all committee hearings in accordance with council rules and Robert's Rules of Order. The chair will facilitate the meeting and call on persons to speak. If you wish to speak, please use the raise your hand option on Zoom. Please limit your comments to the matters before today's committee. As is usual practice, any actions to be voted on during this committee will be done by voice vote, called and recorded by the committee clerk. We have two pieces of legislation up for this hearing. The first piece we have is ordinance number 1300, 2019 by Councilmember Bashir Jones, designated the body block as a Cleveland landmark, remarks by City Planning Commission. Shannon, is this your piece or is this Don's?
This is Don's.
Okay. Don, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. The Bodie block was placed on the National Register in 1998. It was nominated officially as a Cleveland landmark by local historian Craig Bobby several years ago. I think it's long overdue as an addition to the Cleveland Landmark Registry. And my colleague Carl Brunges is here today to present the history and the architecture of the building.
Welcome, Carl.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Am I sharing my screen with you, or is this, do you have the presentation? I don't see it here.
Is this set up for him to share his screen, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead and share your screen, Carl.
Okay. Can you all see that?
Got it.
Okay, great. So the Bodie block is at the corner of Payne Avenue and East 55th in Ward 7. Charles Bodie was born in 1839 in Germany, and his family came to America in 1846. His father passed away in 1852, leaving his widow with 9 children. In 1862, he became a stove dealer and tinsmith at the corner of now Central and East 18th Street. He got married in 1866, had 2 children, and his first block of stores was in that area. And it was designed by architect L.P. Eldridge. So here you see where it was located, is right on the corner. That building actually lasted all the way up until the building of the Inner Belt. And that was taken out there. His second location, as you can see here, his second location was at the corner there at East 22nd, where the Cuyahoga County Detention Center is currently. The current Bodie block, when it was constructed, it was at the eastern edge of an expanding city. As shown, the development is the former East Cleveland portion of the city. From 1882 to 1892, numerous frame houses were built. And this is an early apartment building and one of the earliest buildings of its type in this residential area. He sold his building to his brother at Payne and Central, purchased the lot, and then the building was completed in 1893, containing 47 2- to 3-room suites and 8 storefronts. Smith is listed as the architect for this building, but unfortunately it was only said Smith, and there are 4 architects named Smith at this time. It is believed to be either George Smith, based upon his interior arcade design. He did the work on the old and colonial arcades, or Edward E. Smith, based upon the exterior, he was known as his work on apartment buildings. it was not long after that he died. So here's how the layout worked on our Sanborn map. There was a fire in 1837. Various businesses over the years, some of them were long standing. The pharmacy, there was shoe stores and the such. Let's see. And then you can see the change in the area as it expanded. There was a permit in 1899 for across the street that was taken out by his daughter. And you can see here that Charles was actually named after him. And so by the late 1920s, Payne Avenue was more heavily traveled. And in 1927, Payne Avenue was widened and paved from East 12th to East 55th. So in about 30 years, this area changed from being on the edge of development to being a major part of the city. Here's the view looking west. And you can see the Bodie block on the right-hand side. You see the Charles on the left. And then here's the view looking east. You can see the Bodie block here. And you can see the change that now the sort of the urban car tracks are all gone by this time. In 1938, there was a violation notice for converting the 47 2- and 3-bedroom apartments into 27 4- and 5 bedrooms. So from 1892 to the 1950s, this changed from a middle class and working class apartment building while retaining the commercial first floor identity. None of the tenants, commercial or residential, appear to be especially significant in Cleveland history. The building lost its parapet sometime between 1963 and 1991. From 1960 to 1970, the census tract population dropped from 1,996 to 930. In 1973, the owners took out a permit to demolish the building. By 1980, the population dropped again to 536, and by 1990 to 371. So the Bodie block, though vacant, had survived this neighborhood, while many of the structures around it had been demolished. In 1991, this was nominated as a Cleveland landmark originally, and it was acquired in 1993 by the Nouvelle Espoir Arcade Apartments, which did the restoration. As Mr. Pettit noticed, this is listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1998. It was added under Criterion C. The property embodies the distinctive characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction, or represents the work of a master, or possesses high artistic values, or represents a significant and distinguishable entity whose components lack individual distinction. So this was used as housing again. And this is how it looked prior to its restoration in 1991. Some of the interior spaces. And the current conditions. So this building was nominated. We did not receive owner consent. Therefore, a public hearing was properly noticed and held on July 25th, 2019. This is located in the design review district. So there is no additional hardship added to the owner. It still has to go through a design review process. The only change with the designation of the landmark would be to the final commission. It would go to the Landmarks Commission rather than the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did we receive, Madam Clerk, correspondence regarding this hearing from anyone?
Mr. Chairman. No, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. There's no additional public comment to add. One of the questions that I would ask Carl is that on the backside of this building, there's a kind of advertising mural. How does this designation impact that, or were the appropriate permits pulled when that mural was painted?
Unknown if there were permits pulled for that, although if it's a mural, it'd probably go through public work of art. And because I don't know if this would qualify as a billboard. If it was a billboard, it would have to go through a different process. And it's existing. So we're designated the building as is. So I'm not sure if that had gone through any design review process.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
this was actually discussed at the last Planning Commission meeting in relation to a building in a different ward that has the same owner. This was not installed with the proper permitting process. It was believed by the owner to be a sign. And there's I believe one of the earlier pictures showed where they had a vertically painted. I believe this one was a mural without permit. The other one where it says Smartland was believed to be a sign, but that was determined to be art by the Planning Commission. So there was a bit of contention related to this.
Okay, so the question on this one then, Don, would be, I mean, we're not the signage on the back side of this is not part of the landmark designation. It's just something else that will be dealt with later.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's accurate. It is on the back side of the building, so I don't think it significantly detracts from the integrity of the building. It's not a permanent change, but it's something we can deal with later on.
Okay, thank you. And this is in Councilman Bashir Jones's ward, his district, Councilman Jones?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I was not aware at all of this this mural that was placed on there, and I'm the one. I love murals, but I was really concerned about the fact that it just popped up one day, and didn't know anything about it. So I think that it's nice in a sense, but that really did concern me. Because every mural that we put up into the ward, we like it to represent the beauty of the ward. And though I want to give you directions to Italy, and I want you to stick around for a bit. So I don't know how that will be handled, but it definitely should be. I used to live in the building. And I would walk through the building and just look at just the magnificence of the structure. I think it's a beautiful building, and I think that this process will always keep our arms wrapped around this building, because it truly is something that is represents the historic value of Cleveland. Carl, can I get those pictures of that you have, that presentation? Can I get a copy of that?
Absolutely, I can send you a copy.
Great. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions on 1300-2019? No further questions. 1300-2019 stands approved as presented. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next ordinance, number 531-2020 by Councilmember Griffin, establishing a 15-foot specific map building setback from the property line along the northern side of Carnegie Avenue between East 79th Street and East 81st Street, map change 2611. Shannon, I'm guessing this one's yours now.
Yes.
Okay,
You want me to share my screen?
please.
It says I am not able to share my screen.
Uh-oh,
I've been disabled.
you've been blocked. If we can open that up for Ms. Beatty to share her screen, please.
Available, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
I can do it now.
give it a shot.
All right. Yep, here we go.
Thank you.
All right. Can you see it?
Got it.
All right. So this is located at the corner of West 79th and Carnegie. We're establishing a 15-foot specific map setback along Carnegie. This will ensure that the new proposed development is located where design review has recommended it, also based on the most recent Carnegie TLCI that was passed. And if we do not establish this, as you know, specific map setbacks are building lines that dictate where a proper building or structure can be built on the property. This area, you'll notice the parcels were all consolidated, so it would have to sit back 15% of the lot depth, which is much farther than what is desired here. And no, BZA would not be able to grant a variance at this location for that front yard setback. And the real key to this is to maximize the public safety and walkability on Carnegie at this location. It's a pretty major intersection. So you'll notice in yellow that there's already an existing 15-foot specific map setback along East 79th that runs north and south. The proposal here is to add one along this block with the understanding that going forward, we may go in and do this along the entire area of Carnegie Avenue after a few more studies. So this was the initial proposal. The driving force behind this is for a new bank. As you can see in the slide, it's a very auto-centric suburban-like bank. That was their initial proposal based on the current site conditions. However, after they went through design review and some meetings, they wanted them to bring the building to the corner to really kind of hold that corner and to follow suit with the recent construction of like a Dunkin' Donuts and a couple other places around the corner here. And really this was to really help drive the public safety thing home so people would feel comfortable walking down the street, putting the windows and the eyes on the street rather set back, as well as walkability for pedestrian safety with vehicles. So the proposal here, as you can see, is just to add this 15-foot specific map setback along this block. The other thing to note is that the other structure will be demolished. So in the one structure that is still standing there in the middle, located here, this doesn't take up the 20% that's required that BZA would be able to grant that front yard setback. So if the setback isn't, that we don't pass this, the new development will not be able to be built the way that the city wished that it would be designed to match the other corners along here on Carnegie. Any questions?
Questions from my committee members? Councilman Griffin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A lot of work has gone into this project. One of the things that I've always been concerned about is the traffic patterns at that corner. So we actually made a lot of suggestions in order for them to accommodate that. There's also been a lot of development. You have Cleveland Bagel, Dunkin' Donuts, the small business storefront with J&L Trucking owns on that area. So a lot of work has gone into redeveloping that East 79th and Carnegie corner. So I'm very much in support of this and ask my colleagues to support this as well. Thank you.
Chair, can I ask a question?
Councilman Jones?
Now, Chair, this question maybe a little bit off. Can I get a little?
Okay, you got a little attitude, go right ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Shannon, I want to ask, because 79th has a major issue from, I would say, Carnegie all the way down to St. Clair, and in regards of just a sidewalk, particularly between 79th and Addison to 79th and Superior. And, you know, I've been a child and just walking that street, and it's like a very, the sidewalk, there's basically not a sidewalk, really. It's probably one of the most dangerous areas in the city in regards of driving. What's the process to get that taken care of? Is this the same thing like you're doing right here?
Shannon Leonard, City Planning. So, sir, this is, so sidewalks would really be more traffic and engineering. I believe in this, you could meet with our pedestrian coordinator in planning, Callie Mersman. But the sidewalks, you're right. Some sidewalks are more narrow than other sidewalks. With this is just for the specific setback along the property line. which where the building will have to be set back at a minimum of at least 15 feet. And so in front of that 15 feet, there will be some grassy landscape, but for sidewalks specifically, that's beyond my department. That would be, well, my section of zoning, that would be more so in line with the, like I said, traffic and engineering, or you can meet with our pedestrian coordinator.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you send me her information or whoever that is?
Yeah, her name is Callie Mersman, and I'll send that to you after this meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. And certainly looking at these major corridors, as you pointed out, Councilman Jones, 79th Street, 93rd, 105th, these are all major connectors north and south, and how we make them more pedestrian friendly with the appropriate setbacks and tree lawns if need be is critically important. So I appreciate you raising that issue. And we certainly talked about connectivity. And as we also look at, being able to, whether we have ductwork buried in these streetscapes, but being able to have connectivity through fiber optics, as we spoke about yesterday, it's all part of our larger infrastructure. So thank you very much. Any further questions on 531-2020? Madam Clerk, did we receive any comments on this, public comments on this one as well?
No public comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. No further questions. 531-2020 stands approved as read. Thank you all very much, and thank you, staff and support for putting this meeting together. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.